Greetings everyone and welcome to the Entheogenic Oasis channel. I'm your host Josh Ryan. Thank you for listening. I wanted to make this video today to detail a bit about what this channel is, where I hope to take it, who I am, what my history is, and why I decided to create this channel. So first off, the Entheogenic Oasis is a channel that primarily focuses on psychedelics and their role in human development. Personally, I see these as the most valuable tools for creating our most authentic selves and enhancing our ability to love ourselves to the highest degree. So they give us access to the most self-love. So you can love your character entirely. And you can be 100% authentic in all moments of your life. I prefer the term entheogen, but if you prefer psychedelic, that's fine. It's just that on this channel, you will hear me use the word entheogen quite a bit. And when I say that, I am referring to plant medicines, psychedelics, or hallucinogens. So this channel is designed to be a space where I can provide accurate and concise information that details all the ways that these substances are enhancing human life, the human experience. So like I said, whether it is for creating more authenticity in yourself or learning how to love yourself more, how is it doing it? What is the science up behind it? And what is the context in which that is most likely to occur? There is a large body of evidence now in the therapeutic field of medicine showing that many of these substances can help alleviate a lot of the ailments that humans suffer from, whether it is PTSD, trauma, depression, anxiety, you name it, even addictions. These things are helping. And there's no doubt about it, the scientific evidence is compelling around these substances. So I'd like to be able to provide a space for these topics to unfold and to bring awareness to them in a hopefully fun way. I'd like to make this a fun channel, but also a very informative way. So the way I hope to do that is by creating monthly, weekly videos. At this point, I'm probably going to do one a month is my current aspiration, but if time goes on and I have more availability, I would like to be able to do this weekly. But just sharing my own curiosities, my own findings, my own personal interests, and personal involvement with these substances. Yeah, so you'll get to hear firsthand recounts of the impact these are having on me, the impact these are having on loved ones, friends, people I associate with. And also, I'd hope to be able to have guests come on to recount their experiences, their epiphanies, their transformations, and their interpretations of these substances as well. So providing a space for many different people to come on, discuss, and share their thoughts and feelings about these plant medicines. Yeah, so I kind of see this as an evolving channel, just because of the nature of my approach to working with them. I would say that I'm still very much a student of these medicines. So after you hear my story, you may realize that this channel is going to kind of be something that augments my own personal exploration of these substances, and you'll kind of get a bit of you'll get to kind of journey with me as I uncover and unveil the value of these things, and maybe you'll be able to see a big transformation in who I am, and that just might inspire you to work with these more and get more involvement with them in your life. So to that extent, I will now share, I guess, who I am. My name is Josh Ryan. I live in Buffalo, New York. I'm 30 years old. And I would classify myself as a psycho-spiritualist and an energy therapy expert. I am not a trained therapist by any means, but these subjects fascinate me deeply. So I would say I'm somebody who likes to take things to the fullest extent. So I would say in my own curiosities, I have become inadvertently an expert on a lot of these subjects. So I do feel a great deal of responsibility also to kind of provide information and interpretations of these things so that I can hopefully help save other people a lot of time and, inform them of where they're going to find their best results with these substances. So, my psychedelic exploration began when I was 16 years old with a mushroom trip. I was hanging out with friends. We'd gone to a high school homecoming dance, and afterwards we went to some friends had a party. One of the people at the party was offering mushrooms, and my best friend at the time said, "Would you want to get some and maybe go back to your house and we can do those?" And I thought, sure, that sounds great. And so we did, and we, after eating them, had a amazing experience. Both of us agreed it was just fantastic, mind-blowing, awe-inspiring, and a revelation, realistically. And that's quite common for most people when they do their first mushroom experience. Not to say everybody, there can be challenging reactions, but the experience itself was beautiful, fun. I laughed a lot. Obviously, you get a lot of colors and patterns, and reality has a texture to it that's different. But it really kind of opened me up in a way I wasn't aware of. There was a component of myself now that I had access to that I didn't before. I didn't know it was there. And that was exciting to me and very intellectually stimulating. I've always considered myself an intellectual person. I like to think about things and ponder, and this really, really opened up my mind in a way that was exciting to me. So psychedelics and mushrooms continued to fascinate me for many years after that. And that just propelled my interest in getting involved with, quite a few other psychedelic substances, and thoroughly enjoying a lot of those along the way. But there were some challenging moments, as there are for most people with those, but for the most part, my psychedelic exploration has been very positive and rewarding. So at this point, though, I have synthesized psychedelics with my spiritual understanding of life and God and reality. And how I came to that conclusion developed from a heartbreak. A girl I really, really loved didn't reciprocate the same level of love that I was hoping, and it left me feeling very devastated. This really caused me to question the existence of God. I wanted to know, if God exists, why is there tragedy? Why is there suffering? And why me was the obvious question. So I began a deep dive into the question of, does God exist? I just purely wanted to know, if God exists, why is there tragedy? And how can I also essentially set myself up to receive the most positive path in life, the most love from life? That was kind of my thinking. So many different avenues of thought after that compelled me to different forms of thinking about the nature of God. I guess initially I started reading things like Deepak Chopra, Wayne Dyer, more along the lines of New Age spiritualism. Right away was the most compelling to me. And I was even taking like a deep dive into things like quantum physics and biology, reading books like The Biology of Belief by Dr. Bruce Lipton, and The Power of Intention by Lynn McTaggart, or the one that really sparked my interest the most was The Hidden Messages in Water by Masaru Emoto, where he photographed water as it was freezing, and depending on the stimulus of what the water was revealed to, whether it be a positive or negative stimulus, determined the symmetry of the crystals that formed as the water was freezing. Obviously, positive stimulus would produce symmetrical, beautiful crystals, and negative stimulus would create ugly, deformed crystals. So that seemed to indicate some intelligent design, and that's kind of the most compelling evidence I've seen for intelligent design inherent and intrinsic to reality. So I kind of started basing my spiritual understanding off of things like that. I did examine multiple religions: Christianity, Buddhism, Tibetan Book of the Dead. Amongst all of those, I would say that the most compelling was a book called Love Without End, Jesus Speaks by Glenda Green, in which this author claims to have received a visitation from Jesus Christ, in which he initiated her to paint his portrait while he detailed many of the secrets of the universe to her. And I found that to be one of the most interesting assertions on love ever written. For whatever reason, that body of work from this particular person provided the best interpretation of love that I'd ever heard in my life. So it was just poetic literature, and I very much was moved by that for a long time, inspired by that. The biggest impact was the near-death experiences for me, though. Seeing people who had some type of a tragedy occur, whether it was a car accident, a heart attack, suicide attempt, kayaking, drowning, even cancer, a death-related experience where these individuals were clinically claimed deceased by all medical standards, and yet we're having profound experiences during this moment of death. Oftentimes they would come back very much transformed from this, professing grandiose claims of love, of joy, of connection, of peace, and just a serious fearlessness about life. And when you have such a contrasting before and after of somebody who, take suicide for example, is desperate to escape reality, who now comes back saying, this is the most wonderful gift, life, and I can't wait to engage with it more and bring more love into it and find more ways to be happy here and make others happy here. That's a very revealing experience. So those were massively inspiring for me for a long time. Just to detail the first one that really hit home for me was of a gentleman that was skydiving, and he thought that was the peak of human experience. Just that brief 20 seconds of free fall when you're out of the plane. It was the best drug, he referred to it as. Nothing could beat that thrill. And he was, avid skydiver. He would do it all the time. Well, one particular day, the plane was chugging along and the engines shut off. And that plane took a nosedive straight towards the earth. There was no stopping it. It crashed nose first into an oak tree, and he didn't have a seatbelt on. I mean, these planes that you go up in to skydive, they typically don't have seats, let alone seat belts. So he hit the tree coming through the window and just destroyed his body, essentially. Broke it up in numerous ways and was mangled and brutally disfigured from it, and yet claimed that during this time he was in the presence of God, just basking in glorious love. So to see a man who was clearly disfigured by an accident and yet having such a profound declaration of, this is better than any 20-second free fall that skydiving can ever provide. This experience of cosmic love with God, it's the thing that just gives you complete satisfaction in life. So those propelled me for a long time, researching how people were having these experiences and how they were impacting their well-being in lives. So then beyond that, I mean, I began to see a lot of different elements within all of those experiences where not everybody's stories were the same. Nobody really seemed to have the same exact experience every time. But there were certain elements that were always the same, such as just a profound feeling of coming home, of being bathed in infinite love, a white light, a reconnection, and just a knowingness that it was a source, essentially. But the details were always different. So continued to press on with my curiosity, and eventually was informed of ayahuasca, which, if you don't know, ayahuasca is a form of DMT, a brew made in the Amazon that people will drink to have somewhat of a spiritual connection. And I thought, well, here's an avenue for my own personal exploration. Why not see if this can provide anything close to a near-death experience? So I went out seeking ayahuasca, but was quickly deterred when I met with somebody who I was hoping to find out more information about ayahuasca, but quickly told me about bufo instead. So bufo is a shortened form of the word Bufo alvarius, which is a genus of toad that is local to the Sonoran Desert of Mexico and Colorado. This particular toad produces a psychedelic compound in its defense secretions along its back and hind legs. The compound is 5-MeO-DMT, and it's the only mammal we know that produces this compound in an excessive amount, and in an amount that, when ingested by humans, can produce a profound psychedelic experience. So I was told about this bufo. I was 21 at the time. I had met with a health guru, and he mentioned it. He just offhandedly said, hey, this bufo, as he described it, he said, it puts you right into the lap of God. And that was all I needed to hear. I asked him if he could help me find somebody who was administering the substance or working with it, and I left there with a desire to find out more and to connect with people who were working with it. So I started just diving into the literature, looking onto the internet, and basically within a few months had set up an appointment to go meet with somebody to work with it. I met with them at a house on the Gulf of Mexico and had a life-changing, profound experience at 21 years old with Bufo alvarius 5-MeO-DMT. It was pure bliss, pure connection, the most peace I've ever felt in my life. At one point, I was moving energy so much that it felt like an explosion in my heart that just was so satisfying and had helped heal me in a way that I needed to be healed. And it gave me access to connect to this spiritual realm that I'd been reading about and looking for so long. And so that has continued to compel my interest in this substance in particular and psychedelics as a whole for the last 9 going on 10 years now. And I'm at a point where I want to give back and share and connect more with people who are involved in this in a more serious and impactful way. So hence why I'm making this channel, just as a platform for discussing all things related to this substance, even near-death experiences, philosophical interpretations of God, psychedelics as a whole, people's experiences, whether they're negative or positive, fun stories of people who've used these things, even inspirational art or music, and the ways it enhances relationships or your ability to be creative and express yourself, your own authenticity. So basically, I do want to say that there will be a large prevalence of discussion around 5-MeO-DMT on this channel, because I feel that it is the most impactful substance to be using for any type of healing work or spiritual exploration purposes, which is based primarily off of my own use with it and my own evaluation of others who are using it. But there's plenty of room here to talk about all psychedelics and their impact in your life, your energetic system, and I hope to also include a lot of that on this channel as well. I guess that's primarily it. I'm really glad to be able to have a space to share my thoughts about this stuff, and I'm excited to have you guys come along with me as we explore this together, and you can see the impact that it has on my life and the lives of the people around me, and we can kind of grow together in this. So I'll leave it at that. So thank you guys for listening, and I hope to continue to connect with more of you. So, all right, take care. See you next time.